Hello, fabulous friends and fans. Welcome to Synchronicity University. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah, and this is your moment of synchronicity. This video is part of the Moon in the Astrology Chart series, and we're looking at the Moon in Sagittarius, or in the 9th house for this particular video. Now, just because you have the Moon in Sagittarius doesn't automatically mean you're going to identify with everything having to do with the Moon in the 9th house, and vice versa, but there is a natural correspondence that does take place there. I would encourage you, of course, to watch, if you have the Moon in Sag or the Moon in 9th house, watch this video, but then go to the video also that has to do with wherever your Moon is by sign or by house, so that you synthesize the two videos. You bring them together to have a better understanding of how to understand that Moon so that you can tap into the power of that Moon to your advantage. That's ultimately how I see astrology. It is about self-awareness. And self-awareness lends itself to more conscious choices, and more conscious choices lends itself to a life that is of your own choosing, that is defined by you and helps you live it how you see fit. And of course, I'm all about fulfilling your potential and all that stuff too, and the Moon is a big part of that, because the Moon is emotional fulfillment. And as I said in the intro video for this looking at the Moon through the houses, through the signs, when people come to me, the top 3 questions I get asked when I'm asked to look at a chart, whether by personalized horoscope video, whether through a client: love, money, life purpose. Top 3 things. I think that you cannot look at really either of those things, but particularly life purpose. We don't often make the connection between the Moon and life purpose, but I think it is an imperative connection. The Moon represents where it is that you feel comfortable, where it is that you feel at ease, you find your home, what qualities you need to bring forward to feel at home within yourself, and where in life you find your space that feels most at home, and you create a home for yourself as well. And if you do that, then everything else becomes that much more easier to grasp, to achieve, or to move towards. And so Moon and Sag, the Sagittarian energy, if you will, is of the world. It's an energy that needs something to do. It's fire, so it needs something to do that it's passionate about. It's very much the energy of being on a quest, you know, the traveling philosopher, the wandering mystic. These are all archetypes of the Sag, of Sagittarian energy. When you are a Sagittarian Moon, there are a few key things that you need to understand about yourself. Because the Sag Moon, I think, is really tricky because it can get very restless, it can get very frustrated. And you always get clues. Your life always gives you clues if you are honoring your chart, honoring what you really need, living true to that, manifesting that, or if you are not. And this is especially true for someone with a Sag Moon, because if you are not living in alignment with something that feels like it is moving you towards greater happiness, moving you towards a goal or an adventure that helps you feel enthusiastic about life, about yourself, it's not so much the attainment of the thing. Capricornian energy is about the attainment. Sag energy is about knowing that you're on the path and feeling excited about the path. If you are not on a path that gives you joy, that helps you feel like you're moving in a direction, whether it's of your dreams, of your liking, of your joy, of your satisfaction, of your truth even, of your philosophical truth, of exploring and knowing yourself more, knowing the world more. If you are not living in accordance with that, the Sag energy gets really restless, gets really frustrated, and gets really judgmental. That's the big clue. So if you have a Moon in Sag, or a Sun in Sag for that matter, or even a Sag ascendant for that matter, if you find yourself being judgmental, getting up on your high horse, thinking you know all the answers, thinking you know what's right for the whole world, this is a big clue. This is a big clue to you that you are not happy in a very key way, that you are not honoring that Sagittarian moon. But if you are doing what you need to do to honor that Sag moon, you will find that the issues and the problems of the world and all those things that bother you all of a sudden don't, or bother you a whole lot less. I have spoken about, in one of my videos in the past, I remember not that long ago, from the time I'm recording this video anyways, talking about scapegoating and why people do that. And how when people are not doing what they know they need to do to make themselves happy, to move themselves towards a life that feels fulfilling, it's very easy to distract yourself by pointing fingers at others and saying, they are doing this wrong, whomever they are, whatever that group is for you, they are doing it wrong. Blaming others for social ills, that's a really big clue. If you start getting passionate and wound up about social ills, there is a way to address. There are a lot of very brave people, noble people who work very hard for social change. I have benefited from those work as a woman in many, many other respects. I have benefited from all those people who came before me, who actually worked to change things on a literal, immediate level, but also on the political level, on all different levels. A lot of people have sacrificed for you and I to be exactly where we are today, and I'm grateful for them. And there's a way to contribute towards the evolution of society, towards the improvement of the world and of politics and society from a place that is at peace within yourself, from a place that feels right and still and joyous. And then there is a place to do that from that is anything but. If you find yourself coming from that place, you know that you're not honoring your moon. So that's the great thing about Sag moon. Life will show you, your feelings will show you very quickly if you're honoring that moon or not. Sag moon needs something to be excited about and needs an adventure. And a Sag moon, like a moon in a 9th house, but particularly a Sag moon, finds home in a foreign land, finds home in a foreign culture, foreign land, foreign language, or even a whole system of belief, a spirituality that is different from what you knew before. And so these tend to be people who have a sense of idealism, yes, but have a need to really explore, to know more of the world. Now, it's so funny, I've talked to a lot of people with a moon in Sag, and a lot of them have said how much they love to travel. Big, big theme. Interestingly, I've heard a lot of people say how much they love airports. For some people, airports are downright stressful. They hate them. If you see somebody who's really zen in an airport, who looks really calm, even like they're enjoying themselves a little bit, going through the process with a certain sense of contentment on their face, you know that that is a Sag moon person. That is a person with the moon in Sag. Moon in Sag person needs to figure out for themselves what they believe and will often choose what they believe to their own liking. Now, the Sag energy, moon in Sag, sun in Sag, Sag ascendant as well. There's a story my father used to tell me when I was a little girl, and he would tell me the story about a man who was a very holy man. He had a son, and his son came to him at 17 and said, "Dad, how do I know that what you have been teaching and what you believe is right? How am I supposed to know that that's what is the truth? That's really the way." So his father buys him a horse and gives him 40 gold coins or something along those lines and said, "You go out into the world and you come back and you tell me." So the son leaves and comes back when he's 40, interesting age for a son to come back, and says, "Dad, you were right all along." So I think this story in one exemplifies very much what it means to have strong Sag placement, because in some way that person, especially if you've got a Sag moon, you are not going to be comfortable within your own self. You're not going to be at peace within your own self until you actually take that journey, until you actually get on that horse and go out, ride into the world and see what other people believe and see what other people think, and realize for yourself where you are in all that, and what is true for you. One thing I do really like about Sag and really the signs moving forward from Sag is that there is a very strong quality with these signs of getting better with age. And particularly Sag Moon gets more mellow with age, yes, and really comes to understand that the whole world is home and can start to feel at home in just about any place in the world as well. If you are somebody who's interested romantically in someone with a Sag Moon, it is a good idea to be of a different culture, a different language, a different religion. It's a good idea to in some way be a foreigner or very different from what this person has known before, because that's only going to be that much more intriguing. There's something that is very comforting in the presence of those who represent the other, of those who represent sort of another land, another place, another way of looking at the world, another system of spirituality even. This is going to resonate very deeply with people with the moon in Sag. And but if you don't have that going for you, then it helps to like do things like travel together. Even if you're just going out on dates with them, go to restaurants of different cultures, right? Try food from all around the world. These are little things you can do to start tapping into that Sag Moon. If you have the Sag Moon, then what you need to feel cared for is, on the one hand, freedom. I mean, Sag and Aquarius, those are some freedom-loving signs right there. And Sag needs a sense of self. It needs a sense of freedom. It needs to feel like it can explore. So whether you're exploring exactly where you are right now, or you're exploring ideas, you're going to school, or you're actually traveling, exploring different lands, if you are a Sag or if you love a Sag moon, you have to trust them and you have to let them go. This is very much about, you know, if you love it, set it free, and if it returns, it's really yours. If you love a Sag and you set it free, it will love you that much more for it. So you've got to give them their space to figure out what they believe. And if you give them that space, then they won't insist that you believe what they believe. They won't insist that you believe the same thing as well. So exploration. And this is also the sign of teaching, okay? This is a sign of learning, acquiring knowledge, wisdom, really, and then sharing that wisdom. For those who have the moon in the 9th house, you know, again, this is finding home in a foreign land. Travel becomes that much more important to these people. It really becomes about the actual process and the places. So it becomes about you needing to travel. Life will put you in situations, or you will find that you need to go out and you need to do traveling. Higher education tends to be really important to these people as well. Now, whether that's within an established system, well, that's going to depend on what else is happening in their chart. If this is someone with a lot of Capricornian energy, for example, in their chart, then yeah, it is going to be somebody who ends up being highly educated within an established university system. If it is somebody who's got, you know, lots of Uranus placements to their moon, no planets in any of the more traditional signs like Capricorn or Cancer, then they're much likely to go exploring on their own and still be very highly educated, still know a whole lot, but might not necessarily have the degrees to match what their actual knowledge is. This also has to do with, you know, I think about how the 9th house is connected with sharing on a bigger stage, interacting with the world, and it has to do with things like publishing and exports. And so these are going to be areas of life that they are asked to engage in. So they're going to find that they're going to be asked to share, moon and 9th house types, they have to share in bigger ways. They're constantly going to be brought out of whatever safety space they're in, but they may even feel more comfortable. It's really interesting. It's like the more they get out of their comfort zone, 9th house is about getting out of that comfort zone. It is about going out into the world. As they get out of their comfort zone, share in bigger ways, allow themselves to be more open to having their message, whatever their message may be, reach a wider audience. the more they do that, the more they claim that they're worthy of that, the more at peace they start to feel within themselves, the more comfortable they feel within themselves and in the world as well. Now, with the moon and Sag types, I actually think the bigger motivation is understanding that truth is relative. If you've got the moon in the 9th house, that might not be as much of a focus. It might not be so much about the truth being relative, because you're still bringing your energy. So if you've got like sort of a very strongly placed, let's say you have like an Aries, let's say you have an Aries moon in the 9th house, well, it may not be that the truth is relative. It may be that there's one truth and you know the truth and you're going to go out there and share it. So this could end up being like one of those traveling preachers or something, where you're on a mission, you know what you know, and you're going to go out there and you're going to make sure as much people as possible know it. So the sign of the moon can be a different thing. So Sag as a sign tends to be, has a deeper understanding of the relativeness of it all. Whereas simply having a 9th house moon might not necessarily have that connection, depending on the sign that the moon has. So a 9th house moon may also engage in politics, may also engage in the law profession as well, and find an easy place there. These people often find a place for themselves within the university environment as well, bringing the qualities of that moon into that sphere as part of a search for truth, or as just part of sharing what it is that they know to be true as well. One thing is for sure though, if you've got moon in Sag, if you've got moon in the 9th house, you're not likely to stay in one place. You're not likely to stay in one place throughout your life. And that makes so much more of the world seem that much more smaller, and really helps to change you and bring a deep sense of comfort that comes from the self-knowledge that experience grants. Well, thank you so much for watching this video. I love our interactions. Please keep them coming. Facebook, Twitter, Google+, my website, nadiyashah.com. And of course, the YouTube comments right here. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. I'm truly so grateful for this moment with you. Until we connect again, take care. Thank you for watching this lesson as part of Synchronicity University. You can go online at synchronicityuniversity.com or click on your screen if you're on YouTube right now to access even more video lessons, to access horoscopes, interviews with some of the most amazing astrologers in the world, and so much more.